If you're old enough to remember when phones had cords and the only thing that went viral was a cold, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the Big 6-0 with Kaylee Harris and Guy Rawlinson. Because who better to discuss life's second act than two people who still think mature is a type of cheese?
Well, welcome to the Big 6-0 podcast where we're talking this time about fads. I'm Kaylee Harris and my co-host, who is a fad himself, is Guy Rawlinson. G'day, welcome.
You did say fad, didn't you?
I did say fad. Fad with a D, I did say that.
Fad with a D. I'm always in fashion.
Yes.
Well, as much as a 62-year-old man
Everyone
can
wants to be
fashion.
you.
They've set the bar so low. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really good. I love this. I love the idea of this episode. Because every generation has fads. You go back to the 50s and 60s, they had fads. It was about, beehive hairdos, dancing and doing the twist and stuff like that. But let's start with the 1970s, which is more in keeping with us. The fads that came through in the 70s, which our kids today would think are so uncool. I'm thinking things like hot pants.
That was a fad? It's out of fashion now? Damn.
Bell-bottom jeans.
Oh,
I had a pair of bell-bottom jeans that had big red stripes down the side, and I thought they were the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Platform shoes.
Do you remember what brand those jeans were? Were they like Amcos or Peaches?
I'm sure they were.
Peaches?
I'm sure they were.
Oh,
but I had not only did I have platforms, but I had cork platforms made from cork, which is now like an endangered species tree.
Nice.
But I had cork platforms with white leather, and how did anyone walk in platforms? I'll never know. And they're about like 4 inches high.
Stylish.
Yeah. I certainly was a bit of a fashion plate in the 70s, but jumpsuits.
Oh, safari suits for a bloke.
Oh, thank God that went out of fashion. Did you, your dad would have had a safari suit.
He had a powder blue one.
Yeah. Okay. Of course he did. Everyone did.
Handed it down to me.
Yep. Now, and where is it now?
Wear it to the Doyle Scenario Cell on every opportunity that I can get. Oh,
fantastic. I'll have to come next time and see that.
If you could. Yeah.
Please, if you can get a photo.
Platforms, bell bottoms, and me in the powder blue safari suit.
The powder blue safari suit. And like, speaking of guys' fashion and fads back then, remember big lapels? They had big lapels, and they had those. What were those shirts called? Miller's shirts with the pressed
the Miller
studs.
Western shirts with the pearly pressed studs.
With their pearly pressed studs. That was the thing. Yeah.
Oh, I went to a party when I was in year 5, and Robin Campton, who's part of the Big 6-0 family, it was her party, and I got a new Miller's Western shirt to wear to that party. Oh,
were you able to buy one?
Oh, I was didn't I feel good about myself that day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you could roll up, you could put your Winnie Blues into the sleeve of your shirt or your T-shirt, and you could roll it up so that the Winnie Blues would sit there in that rolled up part of your shirt on your arm.
Not as an 11-year-old, no. I didn't do that, but I wore the shirt. I'm sure Robin's mum, Dot, and Dot's no longer with us, but she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. I think she would have drawn the line at an 11-year-old with the Winnie Blues.
With the Winnie Blues, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
what about things like tie-dye? Remember when that was a thing? And remember when this reminded me of it in the movie Forrest Gump with the yellow T-shirt and the smiley face. We all had that smiley face.
We did. Did you ever do the tie-dye at school? I remember doing it at school.
Yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did tie-dye at school.
Yeah, and it had the little rubber bands or something on the shirt.
Yeah, it was like an Asian thing, and we thought we were so cool and exotic because we were making tie-dye.
That made a bit of a comeback not so long ago, but it sort of took the place of Crocs for 5 minutes, I think, and everyone was wearing tie-dyed pants and T-shirts, but not done at school, I'm sure. Did you ever do, and I'm interrupting a little and jumping ahead, do you remember doing the parabola things where you hit the nails into the wood and you do the string art on
Oh, yes. What was that called?
I used to just call it parabola. But parabola. I'm sure that wasn't.
Did you just make that up, or is that actually a thing?
No, I made it up. No, I think that's what we got told. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd make like a diamond shape or a star shape or something on your parabola.
Yeah, it'd be like a block of
Yes.
chipboard, and then you'd hammer all the nails in, and it'd spray it black, and then you'd get the cotton and wrap it around the little nails and make these little
And then
sort
what
of.
would you do with it?
You'd hang it on the wall alongside the macrame owl you probably made at school as well, which was a big thing back then.
Macrame. Oh my God.
Oh, I
Oh my
remember
God.
macrame owls.
Let's talk about toys, fad toys and stuff like that. Remember when Pet Rocks came out?
Yes.
And it was every parent's best thing ever because it didn't need to be fed. It wasn't living. It was just like the kid. And you buy your pet rock, it would come in a box, and you would name it. And my pet rock was Rock Hudson, and I would put him, and he would, I'd put him beside my bed, and Rock Hudson and I would sleep next to me at night, and we'd take our rocks to work, and we'd introduce our rocks to our friends' rocks.
I'm sorry. I'm still getting over Rock Hudson.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it wasn't any rock I knew back then. Yeah.
I never had a pet rock. No.
Oh,
I mean, what
you would have had a
marketing
Cabbage
genius?
Patch Kid or something, or a Care Bear.
No. I mean, I did get given when I was probably 6 or 7 an action figure, sort of. It was called Captain Action. How imaginative!
Action. Oh,
how imaginative was that? And it was like a boy's doll sort of thing. It's not politically correct to say that these days, but it was like Captain Action, and you could take his stuff off and he had an alternate thing, and then you could turn him into Superman. But I didn't have a pet rock or a Cabbage Patch doll. Sorry. Yeah,
but you would have had, did you have a G.I. Joe? I had a G.I. Joe and a Ken and a Barbie. They were fads. I mean, although Barbie is still a fad. Barbie's come back.
And kids don't just, I mean, kids used to have a Barbie or maybe 2 Barbies. Kids these days, it's like Lego, like you have like 10 and 20 Barbies. It's like
but Barbie is like stretched through the generations, hasn't she? She's like, she is still a fad now. And one of my favorite toys when I was growing up was a Viewmaster.
Oh, yes.
Did you have a
go
Viewmaster?
Anywhere in the world.
I loved my Viewmaster, and it was for people who don't know what it is, it's a little machine, and it had a little thing down the side that you could, so you're essentially putting slides inside this, and you could hold it up to your eyes, and you could look at the picture and then read a narrative below it, and then you click your little button, it would go to the next slide.
The little disc was like the size of like a CD, wasn't it? You'd put it in and just it would rotate as you press the button around, and there's the Eiffel Tower. And there, who needed a holiday when you had a Viewmaster?
I loved the Viewmaster. It just, when I had the Viewmaster up against my face, it just took me away. It was such an escape.
Did you ever have an Etch-a-Sketch?
I did have an Etch-a-Sketch.
The hardest thing in the world. You'd look at those things, and you'd have the little knobs at the bottom, and you'd see the pictures.
Try and draw something.
I mean, I could draw a vertical and horizontal line, and that was about it. Like, I was a shocker. But that was one of those. I think you can still buy them. I'm sure I saw them not that long ago, and I thought, what kid is going to want that?
Well, kid, maybe they do because for the fun of it. I don't know. Yeah. Fads in the 70s. What about disco?
Oh, that's not a fad. That's still happening. That's why we're wearing the bell bottoms and the safari suit down the RSL.
I was doing some research, for the podcast, as you do, about disco, and I was shocked to learn that disco really only was a thing from 1977, 78 to 80 before it got killed off. It was only a thing for a couple of years. And that really shocked me because it was such a huge part of my life, that disco fad. And it was just, I mean, the clothes, the polyester suits that went with it, there was so much that went with it.
It was very underground in the early 70s. I mean, there was a variation of disco because disco is a whole fusion of blues and rock and everything sort of meshed in together. And so that commercially, I guess, it started to raise its head. You're right, in the mid.
It was around when
70s.
Saturday Night Fever came out, so it's like 77, 78.
Yeah, 77, 78. It started to come really big. And it started to have its roots in about 75, 76. And then, of course, with Saturday Night Fever coming out, and then it just exploded and became
But
a
then when it got to the
marketing.
80s, the whole music scene changed and everyone turned against disco.
Yeah, they had that big, and you'll remember this being in the industry. They had that Death to Disco thing in
Yeah.
late
Yeah,
'79
and they
at
were
one of the baseball
burning.
games.
Yeah, they were
Yes,
burning copies of Donna Summer albums and all that kind of stuff.
yes,
I remember that.
and
Yeah,
and that had much bigger connotations because of the political movement over there. It wasn't necessarily, it was perceived as having different sort of ethnic and cultural backgrounds related to disco, and of course that's why it wasn't necessarily the music, but it was the connotations, and the louder voices won that argument. But yeah, whether it was the silky satiny shirts, I remember going to the I think it used to be called the Maxis Under 18 Disco at the local YMCA there, and it was great every Saturday night. It used to cost us like $2 to get in,
yeah.
and that was for a couple of years that was what you did.
Well, there was a whole wardrobe that went with disco. Like you said, the polyester shirts and all that white satiny stuff. That was a uniform that went with disco.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
boob tubes and pencil skirts with big splits up the side that we used to wear, and the cork platforms. And it was a whole thing, wasn't it, that would probably horrify kids these days what we used to wear.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. If you get, I mean, my kids are a little bit old now. If they had like a 70s or an 80s theme, if they're going to a 21st, they'd say, we're going to. What did you used to wear? And I'm thinking, well, hang on, I'm still wearing it. Can't you tell? But yeah, just to see, even if you do a search online for 70s dress ups, and you look and think, seems like everyone's got an afro. And I'm thinking, I don't know that I had an afro back in the 70s, but I get it.
Did you ever have an afro?
No, you're kidding me. Probably plaited my back a bit. But
Too much information there.
Did you have the big hair flick thing going, like the centre part and the hair flick at all?
I had really daggy hair, and I remember the whole Farrah Fawcett feathered look.
Oh, yes.
That was like everyone wanted to be like Farrah Fawcett and have that look, and it was layered and it was fluffy and all that. I never was able to pull it off. I always looked like an idiot. But it was, the whole trying to get your hair to be as fat, and that hasn't changed even for kids today. It's you want your hair to look like all the people you aspire to be like, and all the Hollywood people and stuff like that. And we were no different back in the 70s, wanting to look like all the, Brooke Shields or whoever.
Oh, yeah. So long as you didn't do the Bo Derek dreadlocky thing and do the slow...
I didn't do that, but I'm sure I know a lot of people did.
Yeah.
The dreadlocks, that was a step too far for me.
That was. And so long as you didn't have to run slow-mo up the beach,
That's right.
Bo Derek, which sort of transposed into Baywatch, who would jump.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, what's going on there?
That was a fad. Yeah.
Going back to those sort of teenage years, do you remember things like every boy that was worth his sort of salt had to have the Bain Superflex skateboard with certain trucks on the, Did you ever have a skateboard?
Yeah. No, I never had. No, that was a boy thing. Girls didn't even, it was like in the movie Puberty Blues. Girls didn't surf. Boys, only boys surfed, and we sat and watched them. And it was the same with skateboarding. The girls would just sit and watch the boys skateboard because that was, not something that girls did.
Yeah. We had a girl that used to live next door to us. It was a granddaughter, and she was probably about a year younger than us. But she had a Surfer Sam skateboard. She was that girl that she could ride bikes with the best of the kids, and she had the Surfer Sam skateboard that she would ride down, get the death wobbles going down our street. But not sure what happened to her. But
did you have a skateboard?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, and were you good at it? Don't be shy. Like, were you pretty good at it? Could you
I could handle myself.
Yeah, good.
But we used to go to school with a kid who would be able to ride the skateboard like standing on his hands.
Okay, wow.
He would be able to do the handstands on the skateboard. That's next level.
That's next level.
That was not me.
But skateboards again have not gone out of fashion, have they?
Not that I know.
They've been overtaken a little bit lately with e-bikes and scooters and stuff, but they're still. I think skateboards are still a thing.
Yeah, probably. So long as you're not a 50 or a 60-year-old man trying to relive your youth and getting on one and then finding out, I've just done a collarbone or I've whatever, Hey, do you remember yo-yos?
Yeah, I love yo-yos. Yeah, I bought my
Oh,
kids yo-yos and they love them too. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember at school that you had your Coca-Cola yo-yo or your Fanta
Yes.
yo-yo, and you'd do round the world and walk the dog
Walk
and
the
rock
dog.
the
Yeah.
cradle, all those things, and you had to have the Coke Championship yo-yo that you'd buy, from the corner store. And I saw the other day, and I've got one or two. I've still got a Fanta and a Coke yo-yo at home.
Really?
And I noticed online the other day that they're selling for like 120, $130 each.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
thought, wow, like, yeah, what am I doing hanging on to these? Because I can't remember how much they cost, but
Yeah.
yeah, every kid seemed to have one. And you'd go to do the whole round the world thing with your yo-yo, and the string would break, and then your yo-yo would be going, 100 meters down the road without a string on the end. You thought, there you go.
We should have
So,
a yo-yo off. We should get out. We should get some yo-yos and get together and see if we can remember any tricks. That would
that
be
sounds.
so much fun. We should do that with all of our Big 60 people. I think that's a great
Maybe
idea.
they should send us a video if they've got
We
a
should all wear
video of them.
polyester.
Yeah, if they're wearing a safari suit or bell bottomed with a crop top and feathered hair and a yo-yo, and they can send us a video of them doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be into that. But footy cards. Remember footy cards and
Look,
kung
I
fu
do remember them.
cards.
I was never into them. That was a boy thing, footy cards, because I was never into footy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they had kung fu cards, which were massive. There was a TV show with David Carradine in the 70s where
God,
Grasshopper,
young
when
Grasshopper,
you can take the pepper. Yeah. And the kung fu cards, I don't know whether it was more the bubble gum, but you'd collect them, and maybe it was a boy thing. But I remember,
what's the equivalent of sports cards today? Like, it's like through the 90s, we got Tamagotchis and all that kind of stuff. So, is there anything equivalent to football cards these days? Not really, is there?
I don't
Nothing
know.
collectible that kids are into.
Are kids allowed to even have bubble gum because it may have preservative 347 in it, and whatnot?
Probably not.
And the bubble gum was secondary. I mean, you just got your 6 cards in the thing, and you'd walk down to and then swap them with your mates. I've still got cards as well. Gee, it sounds like I keep everything. Don't it? Yo-yos, footy cards. It seems like I keep a lot of things, but.
We should all get together and just go through your garage.
Yeah, other little things that we used to. Do you remember those? And I used to know them as chatterboxes, but they used to be those little paper things you'd made, and you'd say, what colour? Red, blue, and then
like
you'd pick a number.
Pyramids kind of thing, and you'd go dung 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 dung, and this is audio, so you can't see what I'm doing, but put your fingers into a little pyramid and then open it, close it, open it, close it. What did you call it? A chatterbox?
I'd heard them called chatterboxes. Otherwise, that's the only name I've got for them. And you've described them as best as anyone could. And yeah, you pick a colour, red, and your RED, and then you'd pick a number, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you'd pick another, and you'd open it up, and it'd have some message in there, like,
that's right.
you love such and such, or you smell like this, or something.
I've forgotten all about that. Forgotten all about that. And also the fad of, I don't know what it's called, but, when you do the hand clapping thing with your friend where you do what was it called?
I know exactly what you mean.
You have one hand upside down, one hand on the bottom, and then you do that, and you do really fast. I don't even know what was that called?
And you'd have the rhymes and the chants that went with it,
exactly.
If this girl went to such and such, or whatever it was,
If anyone listening knows what that's called, please tell us. That was definitely a fad. I don't see anyone doing that anymore.
Do you see anyone playing elastics anymore in a playground?
No. Or knuckles.
Or
marbles.
Marbles.
Jacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, jacks and knuckles, is that the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. And you don't see people playing marbles anymore.
What day? There must have been a day. It's like there must have been a day where all of a sudden no one played jacks or no one played marbles. It has to. It's like that day. You see them on social media where you say,
"Well, I think
there was a day when you all went out with your friends and you didn't realise it was the last day you went out together."
Well, I think jacks and marbles and stuff like that, and even elastics, that was all primary school. So I feel like that was the 70s, early to mid 70s, and then when you got to high school, we were too cool for that.
Oh, yeah. But surely kids in primary school still played it because they saw their idols like Kaylee playing it. So they'd be playing elastics or jacks or skipping where you'd have the two skipping ropes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those sort of things.
Still do that stuff.
They're not allowed to run in a playground. So the concept of jumping up and down on an elastic or skipping I guess that's gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
But did you ever have, I know you had your crop top and your bell bottom, did you ever have a hypercolour T-shirt?
The PR Guy helps businesses tell their story clearly and credibly. From PR to podcast production and marketing, it's communication without the spin. Visit theprguy.com.au.
I don't think I know of them, but I don't think I ever got into the hypercolour T-shirt. Did you have one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. The sole purpose of that is so as people would fill you up. I'm just going to say it. They would fill you up, because
who was filling you up?
Look, it didn't matter really when you were 15. You put the hand on the T-shirt, you take it off, and the heat mark is still on there. And it was just an excuse that you say to someone here, oh, does that really work? And you knew that was code for, I just want to be able to put my hand on your chest or wherever it is. And you never objected. I mean, so long as it was someone at school that you thought, yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't think too many teachers were probably going out of their way to even sort of go that.
Well, that was right up there with acid wash jeans. Remember that was a thing.
Oh, did you have some?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yes.
Of course you would. I only remember having Amcos, and I remember girls all had Staggers and Peaches, or
Corfu. We had Corfu jeans. Yeah, we couldn't afford Levi because they were so cool. Only the cool Hollywood people had Levi's. We didn't have any of those, but leg warmers. God help us.
Didn't wear those often. Got to tell you.
Oh, we did. Yeah, and my God. And that's which brings me to another fad from the 80s, which was aerobics, TV aerobics, where they would wear leg warmers. What's the point of leg warmers? I mean, obviously they're supposed to warm your legs, but why? Because you're doing exercise. You don't need your legs warmed.
Well, ask the Rankin sisters. Wasn't that the TV that had the Rankin sisters on TV?
Exactly. Exercise on TV.
Oz style.
But there's no – can you think of another – exercise show on TV at the moment?
No, but I do look fondly back on Swami Sarasvati, who used to have a yoga show in the 70s.
I love Swami Sarasvati with her Afghan dog that used to walk across the screen in front of her and she'd go, breathing out.
Do you think that Afghan may have been the precursor to Simon Townsend's Woodrow being on TV?
Possibly.
I don't know.
But I love Swami Sarasvati. Oh,
you would have been a shoulder pads girl, surely.
Absolutely, I was a shoulder pads girl. I had shoulder pads to die for. I had my shoulders were as big as an NFL player.
And you stopped wearing them because what?
Because it got to 2024, and I thought maybe I should stop.
Yeah, pretty much like me with the safari suit, although I'm hanging on to that. I think I got onto the Walkman thing a little bit late in the picture too. Okay. If you ever had a Walkman with you'd walk around looking pretty cool.
Mobile music. Think about mobile music. Oh. We didn't have that growing up until Walkmans became a thing. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden we had mobile music that you could put into your ears and you could carry music with you. But before that, it was only ever confined to the house and your record player or the car.
Yeah. Or if you carried the ghetto blaster, very 80s with your headband and trying to break dance on a piece of cardboard. Yeah. I'm sure there were a few. I was a bit old for that.
I actually saw a guy in the city a couple of months ago walking down the street with a ghetto blaster on his shoulder, blasting out something. And I remember I just watched him walk past and I was like, wow, I've not seen that in so long.
Oh, I've still got ours is a Sanyo. We've got, and once again, this is audio, so no one's watching me showed the size of this very small suitcase. It's, has the cassette player and all those sort of things. But yeah, just that vision of, if you're talking about a ghetto blaster, I'm sure everyone's thinking either Flashdance, the movie, or something like that, and having the, or whatever, or carrying it on your shoulder and looking really cool. And you can only look so cool carrying the size of a suitcase on your shoulder. These days, it's either that or a case of beer.
While
and
you're wearing roller skates, what could possibly go wrong? But roller skating, there's a fad. That's not, I mean, I know there are some pockets of, roller skating still around, but at the time, that was a fad. That was a huge thing.
Yeah. Did you have your own skates?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I loved it. I saved up for months to buy myself a pair of white skates with pink wheels. So I was very cool. Oh. And I used to go every Saturday night. We'd go to the skate rink, and you do skating, then you do couple skating, then you do backwards skating, and then you do speed skating, and I loved it. It never translated to ice skating. I was so scared I was going to fall over and slice my fingers off. Yeah. But I never got into ice skating, but roller skating, I was crazy about that in the 70s.
But ice skating wasn't a fad, was it? Roller skating genuinely was. I remember having the I think they were called, they were black speed. They looked like soccer boots with wheels on them. They were cut off black speed skates. And you're right, you did the chariot races and the speed skating and backwards speed skating, and you'd be piling into the side of the wall or whatever it was.
And then you do a train with other people, and
and
that was
wasn't
so
until
much
the
fun.
couples skating at the end, and you thought, getting up the courage to
ask some girl to skate with me. I remember that. That was much fun.
And the wonderful aroma, if you didn't have, you'd walk in and you could smell the hire boots. I can still smell the racks and racks and racks of hire boots as you're going into me. Well, and that's a very heady aroma. Very heady aroma.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Do you ever have a CB radio?
No. But Jeffrey next door, who I was talking about with the cars, with the Matchbox cars, he was a huge trucking fan. Let me just clarify that. And he was so into trucks, and he introduced me to CB radios and the lingo. I remember him, and C.W. McCall's Convoy came out around about the same time, and we used to sit there and listen to it and listen to the trucky language and all that kind of stuff.
But how big was that for 15 minutes in our life, where everyone was 10-4, big buddy, and you just have all the lingo.
Absolutely.
And the cool kids had one. They genuinely had one. And whether it was what is it, C.J. McCall? What's it,
C.W. McCall.
C.W. McCall. And there were movies too, like whether it was Convoy movie, but there was a whole lot of truck movies that also came out around that time too, all on the back of CB radios. And they're still out there. They're still out there.
Yeah. All before emergency services became encoded and you can't listen to them anymore. But back then, I mean, you can still listen to CBs, I guess, if you were really interested in what the truckies were talking about. But
yeah, Jeff will probably know if he's listening. He'll be right across that. Just send us a note, will you, so as we know what's going on. So this would be once again, I'm of an age where I can say almost politically incorrect. Did you ever collect, like, I'll say it, erasers?
No,
and they're all different shapes. I remember there were girls at school that used to collect, like, there'd be like My Little Pony, or there'd be all different sort of.
They were all different colours, and they were all different shapes. You could have not just the normal sort of grey and white eraser. There was a rectangular. There were erasers that started coming out in. Yeah, they were branded and they were different colours, and you had to have the latest cool colours. And wow, I do remember. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, hamburgers, and there were cars, and all that sort of thing. But scratch and sniff. Can you still get scratch and sniff stuff?
I don't know, but God, I want to. I was never really into scratch and sniff.
Scratch and sniff.
Just explain to people who weren't into it like me.
Oh, look, it didn't matter what. It'd either be books, it'd be whatever, and it'd be a picture or something, and you just, or it could have been like, there was a heap of things where you just scratch the surface and, it smells like banana, or, strawberry, and like, it only had a certain life to it, but it was one of those.
Once you scratched it once, it was never coming back, was it?
It was never, and yeah, just be careful where you scratch. That's all
Scratch
I'm
and
saying.
snuff. Scratch and sniff.
You obviously were brought up somewhere completely different to where I was.
Sounds
The
so
scratch and
wrong,
snuff
doesn't
stuff.
it?
Do you ever used to finger? Do you remember finger knitting was really, really big too? Do you remember having a little cotton reel and had put once you had little nails in the top of the cotton reel, and you'd do a finger knitting thing and it'd come through the other. But you could buy there was a like a branded toy which was I don't even remember the name of it, but it was a knitting Nancy. It was a knitting Nancy.
Nancy? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was really,
wow. Were
really
you a knitting
big.
Nancy?
No. No. Sorry. I was a handball guy though, like KP. We used to call it KP at school.
What did KP stand for?
No idea.
Because we used to say, like, we're going to go and play KP. And if you said that to kids today, they've got no idea what you're talking about.
Absolutely
but handball,
no idea.
yes. But KP, what did KP stand for?
I have no
What was
idea.
it called that? Somebody would know. If anyone who's listening, please let us know what KP stood for.
I think it's just Kingpin sometimes, Kingpin or Kingping. And I'm thinking, well, where'd that name come from? Like, of all the names, I don't know where that came from. So, but there's so many things that just,
I know, but don't even start mix. We almost could do a second podcast when we're out of time.
Oh, gosh, that means I'm going to get the safari suit on then. If I'm going to meet you down in the RSL, you make sure you wear your...
That'd be great.
Look, I'll send you more than a photo. I'll send you a video of my dance moves.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Right.
I'll
see you down the club, down the disco, with my roller skates on as well.
Can't wait. See ya.
Okay, see ya.
The views and opinions expressed on the Big 6-0 are personal and reflect those of the hosts and guests. They do not represent the views or positions of any affiliated organisations or companies. This podcast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for guidance on any personal matters.
And before we go, let's give credit where credit is due. Kaylee Harris and I came up with all the genius content for this week's episode. Our producer, Nick Abood, well, he keeps the lights on and makes sure we don't accidentally upload a cat video instead of a podcast. So thanks for keeping us on track, Nick. Nick?